be live. There I am. Okay. My metronome ready. And first, my nails feel a little rough, so. Wait, hang on. I got water right here. I don't need to lick my nails. Just making sure I get this. This is I don't know if it's 500 grit wet dry sanding paper. I get this from stringsbymail.com. I get several, like 6 big sheets of this. I just cut them up into pieces. And I'll just make sure I get under the nail here. I want it to be nice and smooth. I want the edge, the outer edge, to be nice and smooth as well. I don't want sharpness here. And do the same for the M finger. Right, so basically, here's the nail that I'm going to be using. I'm putting my thumb right underneath the sanding paper. Basically, I'm doing this. Right, with the sanding paper. So, feeling around for roughness. Smooth edge. Okay, that feels good. And the theme of today's stream is, if it feels good, do it, right? So let's see. Index doesn't feel so bad. And thumb. Okay. This should be alright. Just use my shirt for this. Basically, I'm just gonna, actually, I got this thing here. This is basically just a little piece of wood, you know, with a sharp tip. And I just use it to get any dirt or any nail shavings, you know, from underneath the nail. And if you hear a dog in the background, that's one of my dogs, Misty. She's being annoying. Underneath the nail. Good. That feels a lot better. Let's see, so I'm just getting started now. I'm going to do the Giuliani. I'm going to start off with my regular one, which is that first one up here. And I'm going to set my metronome. I have it at 45. I'm going to go down to 40 BPM. Same as always, what I'm doing here is I'm planting the thumb on the next string, except on that very last one, because I'm going to strike from the air. It's an air strike. Now the trick here is I want to make sure that my hand is relaxed, because I don't want to move the fingers back. I want them to spring back. and that can only happen if the hand is relaxed. So in other words, what I'm trying to do is a jolt of energy to activate the strings, and then release, right? Tense release, tense release, tense release. That's what I want in my motion. Because that means I'm doing a lot less consciously, at least, and just letting the body do its natural thing. Because that feels good. And if it feels good, do it, right? Anyway. Of course, I have to be careful of that strenuous noise. That So the first set I'm going to do, well, actually not the first set, but I'm going to do it a few times through using the I and M finger, and then I'm going to do it with the M and A fingers, right? So first one's going to be these three, right? And the next one's going to be those three, like so. Let me get the metronome started. Make sure my posture is good. Nice, relaxed. Like a tripod. What I mean by that is my legs. I want my toes to be a little bit outside the line of the thigh. So that kind of puts me in this position, which pushes the guitar in, like so, and it just makes it stable. If my feet are inside the thigh, then my thigh is pretty much open that way, and you can see how much the guitar moves, right? So I want to make sure I'm like a tripod, I'm like a mountain, stable. And I want to have my points of contact, which is this one here at the upper bout, this one here at the lower bout, and I want to have this upper bout as well, touching pretty much my chest area. And I've noticed that a lot too. Sorry, I know I keep talking. I've noticed that a lot, that when this point of contact is missing, the guitar does this a lot, and it's not that it sounds stable from here, because it's very stable from the bass. Shut up. But I mean, it still has that play to it, if I'm really, pinning it down on myself, of course not with any amount of strength, just a natural amount of pinning, which usually kind of comes from resting this hand on the guitar. It's much more stable. So forth, so on. Sorry, I know I haven't warmed up. So, but yeah, I want that stability to be there. Of course, I also have to be careful not to lean it too much. I've done that in the past, and it's no good. So anyway, now I finally get started. it's important to note that what I'm trying to do here is conditioning. Yes, I'm practicing better motion and trying to make it a lot better each time. But yeah, it's conditioning myself to be relaxed here with the right hand. I'm not paying too much attention to what I'm doing with the left hand. And yes, there's a lot of bussing and such. That's something that there's separate exercises, for that, which I'm going to be doing. So for now, it's all right hand. I'm going to move on now to M and A. And I know it wasn't perfect. So maybe next time I stream, I'm going to work on getting 10 out of 10 in a row, perfect. And that includes, I guess, the whole exercise, or maybe each stroke. Maybe, I don't know, I'll think about it. But for now, I'm just, whatever, relaxed. So now it's M and A. And I'm starting kind of soft. Just kind of get the feel going. And I want to increase the volume, which means increasing pressure. Oops. Watch my points of contact. So by points of contact, I mean where the finger lands on the string, which for me, the index finger, I want it to be somewhere in here, if you can see that, right? Pretty much where the flesh meets the nail. That's the point of contact for the index finger. And you see how I had to adjust the middle finger there? Yeah. The index finger too. That's the feel that I want. Here's the point of contact for the middle finger. Right about there, where the flesh meets the nail. And for the index finger, for the annular, the ring finger, it's actually about here, right about there. So these other two fingers was right on the side, yoko yubi, right there. For the ring finger, it's actually right here. And the reason for that has to do with how the hand works. If I start closing, shut the fuck up. If I start closing the fingers, closing down, the index, and actually let me get my guitar now. Sorry, you have to see my hairy legs. Right. Close down the finger. I can follow the path of the finger this way, right? Look at the middle. Now that line shifts here. Look at the ring finger, that line shifts here. For the pinky, it shifts here. So there's this, what's the word? Is it congruency? I don't know. There's the separation, of the tendons, These two fingers are going to go in this direction, while these two fingers are going to come in this direction, right? Kind of a next thing. So what that means is that the point of contact is going to be different for the ring finger naturally. And so the shape of the nail is, by default, going to be different as well from these two. the shape of the nail for my index and middle finger follow this contour, like so. But for the ring finger, it kind of follows more this contour, more or less, right? Because of that discrepancy or difference in tendons, or just how the hand works, really. And that's important to know, because what I want, ultimately what I want out of the sound is even sound. I want my index, if I were to put each finger on one string, I want the index finger to sound just the same as the middle finger, and vice versa. And I want the A finger to sound just the same as the other fingers. I want all the fingers to sound the same tone quality, same volume. Well, I mean, I of course want to control the volume in each finger as I go, but I mean, that's basically what I'm looking for. An equality of tone. I don't want a listener to be able to tell, oh, he's using his A finger there. You can tell because it's a little more like that, yeah, as opposed to, yeah, see that difference? I'm having to move my hand, of course, to make the point, but that'd be a good exercise for the future. Triplets, starting with I and A. Because normally we do tremolo with AMI. Be good to start on I. I need to work on that. Okay, so that's for a future thing. But yeah, so I did my exercise anyway. Moving on. Last time, I really liked this one. I did this last time, the penultimate one, number 9. I'm gonna do it again this time. Let me just refresh on it. So this one is, right, you set all 3 fingers, right? So 1, 2. So when I pluck this one, I want to plant it on the D. As soon as I pluck the last note here, which is on the E string, I want to plant back the I and M in preparation for that. And when I pluck this, I want to bring it to the bottom string, and I want to have the A planted again at some point. So slowly it's going to look like this, no chord. Like that, pretty much. And I'm trying to get it to where I land exactly where I need to be. It's a little difficult, if I'm being honest. Well, difficult for me, because I'm not a talented player. I'm not a natural at this. So this is why I'm doing this, I've got to work hard at this. I did not set the thumb back. I guess you guys can't see that very well, can you? Even though I'm only using I and M on the last beat, I still want to have the A set for the next measure over, which restarts the sequence. Sorry. That's what it is. Okay. Let me try that again. And I want to hover on the last one. I don't want to plant down, because then I have to move back. And I don't want to plant on the bottom string, because then that means I pluck it by accident, right? So let me get started with this exercise. I'm going to set my triplets on the metronome. And I'm going to slow way the fuck down. That's the quarter note at 25 beats per minute. Sorry, it's not that, it's that. Right. Dum, dum. Shit. God damn it. Alright, this one's fun. So let me get this straight real quick. The second beat. Oh, I'm not doing the low G on this one. Am I? No. No, not on this one. Okay, cool. 2, 3. I lost the metronome, of course. It's getting better. It's definitely better than last time. Sorry, I had some lagging there in my part. But I think that's good enough. It's getting better. I'll get back to this the next day. Let's move on to a new exercise, something I haven't done before. Let's see, last time I was doing this one. This one involves a double stop, meaning 2 notes at the same time. So that means the thumb and the eye. Yeah, this one was tricky as well. I think I want to continue this one and then maybe move on to the second one after that. Which is kind of the opposite of it. You know, instead of now starting on P and I, you start on P and A, meaning you leave 2 fingers planted while the other 2, you know, these 2, they do the plucking. Let me do the first one now. And this one does go down to a low G here on the 3rd beat of the 2nd measure. See, don't I have any napkins? Got some water running here. Hang on, I gotta plan this out a little bit better. So let's see, so I want this to ring out. I want to play those 2 strings. This one's gonna rest, this one cannot rest anywhere. And I want to set it back on the G string when the M activates the string. And then I want to set the M back on the string when the A activates. So it's pretty sequential. That pretty much, okay. That's what I want to do. Wrong. Glitching out all over the place here, okay. These exercises are really amazing, by the way, because they really challenge you. Or at least they challenge me, you know, I'm always challenged. I was born challenged. Scheiße. Let's try that again. God damn, okay. Okay, so my goal is to get through 1 successful revolution of this. That means measure 1, measure 2, repeat, and end. That's what I want to do for this one. I want to get to that point. Because it's important to set goals, right? Doing a chord. Keep confusing the motion of resting the finger with striking the string from the air. that too. Shit. You can do it. Damn. Okay. At least I made it through one measure, right? See, if I do it from the air, if I do everything as airstrike, it's no problem. Right, except, well, it's a problem because I forget what notes to play, of course, but or if I do it all like this, without planting, right, that's with very minimal planting. But I'm trying to get my planting of the fingers really involved here and much more minute. Shit. Which is very difficult, you know. So I can do a light version of it, of course. This one's going to take time. And I'm going to take a little bit of time in order to get it better. Not perfect, but better. Because it will be, eventually it will get to a good spot. Plant. Let's try that again. Something like that. It is getting a little better. It may not sound like it to the person watching this. Sorry. Thanks for bearing with me. I gotta stop being so fucking sorry. Let me slow it down a little bit more. 15 BPM. I keep disengaging the A finger. Don't pay attention to the pinky. It does nothing. this is the speed that I need in order to kind of get this right-ish. Let me just take a little break here. So let me shut off this camera so you don't see my legs. So you don't see me scratching my nuts or something. How's the sound anyway? I guess it's fine. Alright. So let's see here. Okay. Alrighty. Let's try this once more. Let's turn the camera back on. Now that you can't see my nuts. To work on those exercises too. That sounds messy. I gotta do planting on that as well. Difficult to do a more particular type of planting. Yeah, because I can do it from the air, okay. Right? Eventually I want to be able to do that piece too. So forth, so on, right? And this is why we do these exercises, so that we can then apply this technical skill to the pieces, to the repertoire. Because I can't keep playing this one forever. So forth, so on. First I gotta do work on strength a little bit. Keep working on this one just for a little while longer. actually a little better, believe it or not. I think I'll leave it at that. And that's okay. Because I want to move on to other exercises. Guess I'm not going to do that second one, number 12. That's good pumping nylon. I was doing these the other day. I guess I'm going to start off with these, a little more basic. These are going to be quick though. I'm going to pop this back to 40. Don't need the triplets, just a beat. And let's see, I have the book right here as well. I don't like just looking off the screen. I'm gonna have to scan this book at some point. I mean, I know I already have a scan, but that scan I have is the first edition. This is second edition that I have. And I really like that it's spiral bound, because that means I can just like set it down like that, you know, and like just take a picture, you know. Take a picture, it'll last longer. That's what women keep telling me in the mall. I don't know why. They tell me that in the bathrooms too. Right, so what I'm doing here is... Okay, so now I'm focusing on left hand. Shut the fuck up. Focusing on left hand, right? And what I want to do here is I want to have good curvature. I want to make sure that the wrist is pretty neutral. I don't want any bending like that or anything like this. Just neutral wrist. I want the knuckles, this part of the hand, to remain in a specific proximity, about this far off from the fretboard, maybe, you know. If I start deviating from that, like so, that stretches the arch of the fingers. It compromises the arch of the fingers. I want to have a good arch like this. The reason I want this arch is because, well, I want this. I want my hand to look like that. I want to be on the tips of my fingers. I want the tips of my fingers to touch and press down on the strings, not the pads, you know. And this is why, you know, the curvature gets extended, because I'm on the pads. If I'm on the tips, you're nice and curved. If you're nice and curved, you have freedom of movement. If you're on your pads, you can kind of do that, but then moving up like this can be kind of tricky. And you can also have some string muting, because these are pointed down as opposed to like this, right? And this is the point of this exercise here, is to move the fingers about from one string to another, right, uninterrupted, while the other fingers remain. Right, like so. Yeah, you can tell it's been a while since I've worked on this one, so the tendency is to use the hand to place the finger, and that is a huge no-no. Here's what that looks like. Here's my pinky going. Now keep an eye on the curvature here, and watch how the hand moves in order to compensate for the lack of curvature and lack of movement from the knuckles. You see that? There's still some knuckle movement, but not as much. This is what it should look like. And this is what it ended up being. And this is really bad, because when you're doing bar chords like this and you're moving the fingers around, the tendency is to do that to kind of allow the fingers to move about on the strings. And this, of course, compromises the bar. Right? And I mean, I have skinny fingers as it is, little princess fingers, you know. They're not very meaty, they're very bony. And of course the fingers Actually, my camera's right there. You know, they have these little divots where the knuckles are, right? You can see how the finger moves. Those divots, when the string is placed underneath, well, that means the string is not being pressed on properly. And so the string is not making proper contact with the fret at these points or close to those points. The points of good, strong contact is between the knuckles, from what I understand, of course, you know? You see here, that string? It's basically in line with the knuckle, where there's no force. This one's actually pretty good. The knuckle here is between those two strings, so. But here's this other one here. And why is that? I guess there's just not enough mass to keep the string down. But this one is really bad. If I move it down a few millimeters, maybe a couple millimeters, less than a few. If I move it up, see, now it's totally muted because now it's really under the knuckle, and there's always going to be some kind of curvature to the knuckle. So bar chords are tricky enough, at least for me they are, because of my physicality. And of course it doesn't help when you're moving the hand around and doing a bunch of other stuff with the other fingers, you know. So always good to practice steady hand and practice moving the fingers from the joints so that the hand doesn't move. You know, think of the hand as the puppet master moving, or the puppeteer moving the little puppets, and the little fingers are little puppets, you know, little puppets there, you know. So yeah. I guess I should really start with that exercise, but I mean, it's fine. And of course, every time I move either the finger down or up, and the reason I'm saying down or up is because down, lower pitch, up, higher pitch, right? When I'm moving down or up, I want to make sure that the point of contact is the tip and not the pad. This is pad, this is tip. Just the tip. And accuracy is very important here, because then this happens. It's like, oh, I wasn't on the right string too much, I went too far, and you have to go just right. And there's two parts of the movement here that the finger takes. The first part is the moving of the finger, right? Now, what I want, and I don't know if you can see this, maybe like this you'll be able to see it. Maybe like that. Yeah, my wrist is compromised. But what I want is, for this, I want to maintain that distance from the string, that relationship to be the same. In other words, this part of the finger might lift up, it might be bobbing up and down, and that's fine as long as this stays level, right? As long as there's no arching, none of that. I want to stay on a single plane when I move, right? And so that's one part of the motion, is the plane, the vertical, the vertical plane, I guess, moving on the y, no, the x-axis, no, yeah, the y-axis, you know, x-axis, y-axis, z-axis, right? Moving on the x-axis without affecting my z-axis, you know, without it moving forward. I want to stay there, and then when it gets to the string where it needs to be, it just presses down. So now it just moves on the z-axis. no longer on the Y or the X, you know. And it's kind of hard to do it, you know, in this position, but maybe you can see this better, like that, like so. Like that. Traveling, trying to not to move like this. One plane, press. Plane, press. Plane, place, press. Plane, travel, locate, press. Right, so I guess it's 3 motions, you know. Travel, locate, press. Depress, travel, locate, press. Depress, travel, locate, press. 4 motions. Right? Eventually I want it to be 1 motion. Just that. That's what I'm working towards. Just 1 motion. So, what I'm going to do here, have the metronome, I'm going to set the metronome down to 30. And this is where slow practice kind of meets its purpose. A lot of instructors, they will tell you to practice stupid slow, but they never show you how, you know. And this is something that I'm just kind of discovering as I'm doing this. And it's, sorry, I don't need to show you my nuts there. That I'm discovering is that you can achieve so much by practicing slowly if you practice diligently, right? That the detail of that motion, you know, would not have occurred to me if I had not taken the time to observe it. And a lot of people practice slowly, but they're mindless, you know, they're just kind of moving, not really feeling, not really in the present moment. And that's really where you need to be. Ultimately, being present and being so observant of your own movement as you're moving slowly, that kind of helps your attention span, especially for someone like me who's a little neurodivergent. You know, I'm on ADHD, you know, I've been diagnosed for it and stuff, and it's not to use it as an excuse or anything, of course, but I mean, I do have this tendency to kind of for my mind to wander off into different directions, you know, very easily. And this wandering off happens so much even when performing. You know, I could be playing with somebody, playing a piece, and then something just kind of reminds me of something else, and all of a sudden I'm out of the piece, I'm out of the moment, and I mess something up. It's like, oh shit, where was I? You know, crap, you know, let me catch up there. You know, and it's funny because, you know, making the mistake is what snaps me back into the reality of this of the present. You know, so yeah, so practicing slowly, I'm practicing focus. You know, a lot of focus, a lot of being present in the piece that you're, or whatever piece of music you're doing, present in your playing, basically. And I since I've started doing these live streams, because doing the live streams really makes me stick to it, you know, like it without the live stream, without the camera being there, you know, it's easier for me to start looking up something on the internet or start composing something else or whatever, you know. So this kind of forces me to do this diligently. And I've noticed that my attention is so much better now with the pieces. A couple, well, I won't get into that, you know, but I mean, yeah, I do feel a difference, and it's a work in progress. It's little by little, step by step, but ultimately I'm going to achieve a much higher level of skill in my own playing than I have right now, and that's my goal. So anyway, let me go ahead and get started with these exercises. Right. I'm having the right hand fingers planted, and I'm just moving the thumb and the M. So I'm going to get started with the index. Let me go back here to the exercises. So this exercise is the first one. This is telling you to fix fingers 2, 3, and 4 on these notes of that string, right? C sharp, D, D sharp. And then the index is going to be moving between the 5th string and the 2nd string. It's going to be on the same fret, which happens to be note D on the 5th string and note E on the 2nd string. Something's going on with my stream here. Hang on. Face looks funny. Let me refresh. Am I back? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, my stream is alright. Right, so that's basically what I'm doing, right? Between these two notes. And of course I'm watching the treble, making sure that I'm not touching the strings, but I'm also not so far above them that I have this arch or that it disrupts the arch of the finger. I want to keep that arch and just push it back. This is the only way acceptable in which the arch can change. From that to that, and from this to that. Nothing beyond those boundaries. I have to be mindful of that. Boundaries are good. So these are going to be staccato. So they're going to be short notes. Sorry. Now the reason they're going to be staccato is because I want to take the duration from the ictus of one beat to the ictus of the next beat, and with that duration I want to move the finger throughout. So it's going to be boom, kind of like pong, you know, when it touches about a boom, goes to the next about a boom, boom. You know, my finger is the ball traveling, taking its necessary time to travel the distance in the allotted amount of time, right? So for now it's going to be staccato, and then it's going to be, I'm going to work on landing the finger on the end, so between each beat. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, right? And then on the E on the 16th of the beat. So 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and then ultimately right on the ictus. But I guess, well, maybe not for this exercise, but for the next one where I'm moving two fingers at the same time, you know, I do. But you know, for now, I'm just going to do the whole note, sorry, the whole beat and the half beat as well, and the 16th beat. Excuse me. The person watching, I don't know if you play guitar, but if you do, hope you find this helpful or useful. Or maybe you're just videotaping this and posting it online or something. I don't know. Well, hey guys, look at this dumbass over here scratching his nuts on the stream. Yeah. Alright. I want to make sure the wrist is neutral. It looks bent, but it's fairly neutral. Okay. See, my mind was wandering off now, just then. I'm gonna keep my eye on it. Touch some strings. practicing. Okay, so now I'm going to do with the ends. One, and so that's where I want to be on the next string. One, and two. Now I don't want to articulate, I just want to be there. Alright, moving on to the next one, the 16th. There it is. Getting distracted. Okay. I want to go back to my quarter note. And I want to go to the next exercise. Man, I'm getting tired now. Getting sleepy. Now it's going to be the next finger over, which is going to be this next exercise here. The note is going to be an E flat and an F. Right, same principle applies. Just give me a second. I want to stretch a little bit. So you don't see my nuts. Just shut the fuck up for now. also get another water. Repertoire I'm going to start looking at again at some point. Then we can move on to the next exercise, the second one. Right. Wrist is neutral. Okay. Eighth notes. Distracted. Let's try the 16th. With this exercise, the motion feels less forced and more natural. More intuitive. Sorry. Right. Ready to move on to the next finger. Yeah, so basically there's several levels here at play. Well, a couple of levels at play. One where you're very consciously making the motion, overseeing the pathway of the finger, and the next one where the finger already knows the pathway. You're trusting it to do its thing, and it's just an intuitive motion. Oh yeah, it's that from here to there. Yeah, you know. I like to think of it as an alligator. You know, so like if an alligator is here in the water, you know, and there's something that it's going to eat. It doesn't do open, move, close. You know, it's gonna do. It's just gonna be there. You know, whatever it needs to do to get there. At this point, you know, it's not gonna be. That takes time, and by that time, movement can be perceived as opposed to just being there. Very relaxed, you know, motion. Slow is smooth is fast, but relax is also allows you for fastness, for speed. Tension in the muscles creates weight, creates resistance from moving, I guess, as well, because I mean the muscles are expanded, you know. So I would think I don't know. I'm not really biology person or whatever. So. So forth, so on. Let's move on to the third one. We're now moving the third finger between the fifth and the second string, so E and F sharp. This one I have a tendency to overshoot. So I gotta be careful with that. With the pinky, I have a tendency to undershoot. Right? So anyway, third finger. Good. Move on to the eighth note. Feeling some tension. Yeah, moving this finger usually gives me some kind of tension here. And it's not the good kind of tension, right? Because there's muscle soreness, which is good. You know, it means you're moving muscles that you're not accustomed to moving. And then there's a sharp pain or discomfort, you know, and that's tension that comes from this. And I can kind of, when I extend the finger, I can feel the muscle here. I'm trying my best to stay neutral wrist, because the neutral wrist does help. I don't know if you noticed, but you probably saw me shift a little bit like this, because I recognize that, oh, I'm not getting the liberty of movement that I need. You know, this gives me liberty of movement. That's why the wrist needs to be as neutral as possible, which I know it doesn't look like it on video, especially right there. And I'm trying to keep it as neutral as possible. More or less neutral. And move on to the 16th. Attention. There. That's good. man, I can't believe there's one person watching this. I'm not complaining about the numbers. I just can't believe anybody would stick around long enough for all this stuff. This is like a really boring stream. Like, I'm not doing this to get views or anything. I'm just like, I'm doing it to kind of force myself to do it, you know, because pressure of the camera. I appreciate you sticking around though, whoever you are. I think I know who it might be. Should leave a comment sometime. Last exercise, and this is now the fourth one, the pinky. After this, I'm gonna go close out the stream. I'm gonna have breakfast, then I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna keep working on this. So yeah. Sorry, I heard something outside. It's fine. Okay. Tension. Okay. To the eighth notes. Okay. That's the hand, stretch it out a little bit. Yeah, this one I feel soreness. A little bit of tension and a little bit of soreness too. Ah. Yeah. Sweet. Okay. Well, that kind of concludes this part of the warm-up. I'm gonna get some breakfast, and then I'll be back and continue the rest of the exercises. Basically these, which involves moving two fingers at the same time. And then after that, I'll probably continue the stream with some composition. So yeah, I'll see you guys in a bit.